All right, it's 8:35. We'll get started. Good morning, everyone. Oh, wow. Hold on a second.
This is not my check.
Oh, over there.
You were a lowrider.
Let's just get rid of the check.
Okay. That'll make the gag reel.
Back the mouse did that to her chair.
Yes, I know. That mouse, it's still running around in here somewhere. For those of you who don't know, we had a mouse on the loose in here last week, I think.
2 weeks.
2 weeks, okay.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Yeah, you know.
No, well, I hope.
No,
It's still.
The decorations now, it's the Santa mouse.
It lives with all of us in spirit, so. Anyway, mute your phone if you would, and we'll get started. If you have anything, since Jim is not here, Ray, you are acting sergeant at arms to receive documents. And with that, Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Bell,
Here.
Curran, Freeling,
Present.
Harrison,
Here.
Hinkleman,
Here.
Majerick,
Here.
Meeks, Scott, Ballraff,
Present.
Werfel,
Here.
Yarborough,
Present.
Elliott.
Here.
Mr. Chair, you have 9 present and 3 absent.
Okay, minutes from the second need to be approved.
I'll make that motion that we approve the minutes.
Moved by Majerick,
Support.
supported by Freeling. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. Annette, you want to do some requisitions now, or you want to do them later?
I'm actually gonna have to wait. I need to get some answers on some of the questions.
All right.
Thank you.
We'll have presentations.
Mr. Chair, before we move into presentations, I just wanted to introduce you all to a face that some of you may know. Today we've got Guy Miller is our acting health officer and our new deputy health officer. So will the two of you stand up? So next to Guy is Candy Gabriels. I've practiced the last name. So Candy has been with the health department, and her background is one that is really interesting. She has built a career with nursing and the management of nursing. And for the last 2 years, she's been with the county's health department. Candy has moved into the management role, has taken on the deputy health officer role. And as administrator, I couldn't be more pleased to see the two of them working together. I think this is going to be an excellent team. I think that with Candy's background, with a whole lot of experience with managing nursing staff and working in hospital environments, she should bring a really good perspective to the health department. Guy and Candy will be coming and presenting to you all. Your first meeting in January will be the organizational meeting, so there won't be a committee of the whole. The second meeting, I believe, is the 13th. At that time, we'll have them on committee of the whole, just to provide updates with everything from COVID to the other activities going on at the health department. Now, with that said, I was just hoping to get you familiar with Candy. Candy, is there anything that you'd like to add?
Just to give a little background, I have been a nurse for a little over 21 years. 20 of those years have been in surgery, and I've been manager, director, coordinator of surgery. About 2 years ago, I came to Marion County Health Department. I do have about 10 years of leadership, so in management or director. So I'm very pleased to join Guy in the leadership of the health department. Looking forward to it.
Very good. Thank you both, and we'll let you get back to work. Thanks for coming.
Thank you both. Have a good day. All right, so next up we have Dan Fetty is going to update you on the master planning process.
Morning, everyone. Thank you. Yeah, as Brian said, he asked that we come in and give you a brief update on where we stand in the creation of the new master plan for Berrien County. Katie is here as well. She's really spearheading the effort on our behalf, so she has a little more technical background on it, but I'm going to give you just a very brief update of the steps that we've gone through thus far and what we expect to happen. Thank you. Over the next few months as this plan starts to kind of be fleshed out and developed in more detail. I think as everyone is probably aware, the Planning Enabling Act requires that the County Planning Commission adopt the county master plan or an update every 5 years. In preparation of master plan, the Planning Commission has to do all of the following as is necessary: make careful, comprehensive surveys and studies of the present conditions and future growth within the jurisdiction. That would be the county as a whole. Consult with representatives of adjacent local units of government in respect to their own planning objectives to make sure that there are no conflicts between master plans or zoning patterns amongst those local units. And obviously cooperate with departments of state and federal government and other public agencies in the area that are concerned with programs for economic, social, physical development within the planning jurisdiction. Again, all of Berrien County. Our current plan was last updated in 2015. We started the process in 2019 of doing the update, and then with COVID, there were delays. It was difficult to get people involved in quorums and everything. So we didn't really kind of kick off the new planning process in full until this past spring. And as you recall, in April, we came to the board and asked whether the board would be comfortable having us hire a consultant to help with this role. For some background, we have not had an independent consultant come in and work on the county's master plan since 2009, I believe was the last time. So the 2015 plan was an update that was done internally with staff of the Planning Commission. So because it had been over 10 years since we'd had an independent review of our master plan, we thought it was important to bring in a consultant to work with us and do a thorough update. That consultant was Williams & Works out of Grand Rapids. They're a well-known planning organization on the west side of the state and represent a number of local communities in Berrien County, which has been somewhat helpful because they have access to a copious amount of local information we currently don't have. There are 4 phases to this process. There's kind of the kickoff meeting with the Planning Commission and going through, what the objectives and goals are. There is the data development and analysis phase. This would be the survey and other interview phases that we've gone through. Then there's the draft of the master plan. And finally, the presentation of that plan to the Board of Commissioners with your review, comments, and then ultimately adoption of the plan. We have completed the kickoff phase. Members of the Planning Commission that are sitting here right now know that we've gone through this with Williams & Works. Andy Mora is our consultant. He's sat with the Planning Commission on a handful of occasions to discuss the process. So we have gone through the initial phase of establishing timelines and milestones and expectations. We have just more or less completed the data analysis. This involved a fairly extensive online survey that was done from the beginning of August to the end of September. And then meetings with local leadership, which we completed just last week. Based on the turnout of those meetings, we're going to discuss whether or not we want to have some subsequent meetings. We had a few of them that were very well attended with local community officials. We had a few of them that were not well attended. We'd like to see more input, particularly from communities representing villages or individuals representing villages. We had a fairly poor turnout in that regard. So we may talk to the Planning Commission about holding an additional meeting or 2 with local officials. Now, I will go through really briefly some of the survey information, but I want to mention that we had, I think, close to 2,200 respondents on this online survey. We were really hoping for more like 3,000, which would get us right around that 2% survey result. So we were just below the 2% that we would look for. I still think that they're meaningful results, though. If you think about it, unlike, say, the broadband survey that was done earlier this year, where we were really trying to identify a need in the community, and the survey results were kind of critical in identifying a specific need. This survey, although we didn't get as many respondents as we did in the broad-based survey, this is more of an opinion survey. We're asking people, what are your concerns with the community? What do you think about the future and so forth? So even though it's below 2%, we still think they're pretty meaningful results. We are going to, this afternoon, put that entire survey online on the county's website. so that anyone can take a look at it. It is lengthy. I think we got almost 425 written answers to questions. So there's a data category, and then there's a portion where respondents could actually write in concerns or questions they had about the future of the county. Katie and I have decided not to edit any of that and just put it out there as raw information, even though I will warn you, many of the responses are not necessarily germane to a county planning process. We have, however, taken the liberty to remove 3 comments which were either vulgar or confrontational for specific named public officials. So we have removed those from the results and will not be publishing those. The rest of it will be online and you can see it. This is just, I'm going to give you broad categories of what we saw on this. This is the age distribution of the respondents. No surprise, we didn't get a lot of 18 to 25-year-olds. We were kind of pleasantly surprised to see the 26 to 30-year-old respondent rate was higher than what I thought it would be. I mean, normally what we see is these are skewed towards the older demographics. This is just briefly when we ask, what do you think is the most important aspect or quality of life or important thing for quality of life in Berrien County? You can see affordable housing, safety and security high up there, job opportunities obviously way up there. It's not surprising to see some of these aspects showing a little bit lower interest, but certainly parks and recreation, natural features and open spaces. We hear a lot of this all the time. This kind of ties into what we're seeing with trails discussions and so forth. What type of new, since housing was such an important part of the survey, we asked what type of new housing should we be encouraging? And you see a single family, less than 1 acre lots, single family 1 to 5 acre lots, huge desire for that. Unfortunately, that is the specific type of housing that is most difficult to generate at an affordable rate. So again, these are raw results, and this is supposed to be our understanding of what the residents of the community are looking for. What type of businesses do you think would enhance economic development? We see restaurants, shopping, specialty shops and retail, agritourism, and so forth. And, not surprising, these are the kind of businesses that we all patronize on a daily basis. So we're not surprised to see that as a result. So again, we'll have that data up and available for your review and for any member of the public that wants to look at it. It's a lengthy document, but I would encourage everyone to take a look at it. It's kind of revealing and interesting to see what all of our neighbors and colleagues think about Berrien County right now. Moving forward, we have to start drafting the plan, and that's going to begin probably in January. We'll start the chapter draft process. The chapters of a master plan will generally include a chapter on demographics, socioeconomic data, chapter on housing, chapter on transportation, chapter on education. And then, the meat of it is really in the spatial maps, the land use, the zoning, and the physical development patterns. These are generally what you would see in a master plan. I'm not saying this is exactly what we'll see in ours. That's going to be largely up to the Planning Commission to determine what they want to emphasize. It's probable, though, that we will put other areas that need to be considered. Communications, including high-speed internet and broadband, which is so much at the forefront of discussions today, will probably be included in great detail in this plan. I think we should definitely consider, the Planning Commission should consider some chapter or subchapter dealing with public health, physical and community resiliency, and also physical and health recovery in the area, which, how can we not pay attention to that right now after what we're living through? And we also intend to take, at the point that the county board determines what their ARPA spending priorities will be over the next 5 years, I do think it's important to have that embodied in the master plan as well. So we will wait and defer to the Board of Commissioners before those priorities are established. But once they are, we think they probably should be rolled into this plan because it'll coincide with the timing of the plan. After all that's done, and we're hoping to have that done somewhere by April, we think is a reasonable time frame. The Planning Commission then submits that draft plan to the County Board of Commissioners, and you have as much time as you want to review that plan and present comments back to the Planning Commission for inclusion in the final version of the plan. at which point then the board has to vote by resolution to adopt that plan. It becomes the official plan of the county government. So that's briefly where we are. We're about halfway into the process right now. The real meat of the work starts in January and will continue through April. And then you'll see these chapters come out as they're drafted. In keeping with the way we've done it in past practices, I think rather than just throwing the whole plan in your lap at the end of it, we'll probably present the chapters on a rolling basis as they come in. It'll give you a kind of a glimpse of how it's being developed as it's being developed. So I'm happy to answer any questions. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Planning commission, is it the Berry County Planning Commission?
That is, yes, yes, the Berrien County Planning Commission, yes. Yeah. The Berrien County Planning Commission has basically 3 legislative functions. One is to review changes to zoning ordinances at the local level and comment on those proposed changes, to review changes in the zoning of land, so a rezoning and so forth, and provide comments on those. And then every 5 years to draft the master plan on behalf of the county board of commissioners. Those are the 3 basic functions of the county planning commission. Anyone else?
So I serve as a member of the planning commission and the board of commissioners. So if there's any feedback from this board that you would like me to take back to the planning commission. We did give a meeting on Tuesday, and one of the things that we had talked about as well to be a little more engagement with regards to the questions from the survey. We're also talking about maybe reaching out to those municipalities and giving them a hard copy of the questions to be able to answer from their municipalities, their leadership in those. So, if in your attendance of any of those meetings, if you wanted to share that communication did come to them, that would be really helpful.
What are your thoughts as a group about taking the initiative and doing that, sending that to the local units, not waiting for them to ask for it, but
Well, I can tell you that at our level, we would prefer to just do it right now and get it out there. And then any assistance that you could provide in your meetings, as Commissioner Freeling said, to kind of nudge the communities to answer these questions would be helpful. This plan is a little bit different in the way we set it up in previous master plan processes, where there's a heavy emphasis on feedback from local community leaders as opposed to the public in general. We really wanted to see what the local governments were doing and where they thought they could mesh into the county master plan. So we'd prefer to send this stuff out right now.
Sharon, just one sec. Do you have email addresses for the local clerks?
Yes.
Okay. So if we sent something to the local clerks, they could then be tasked with getting it to the city manager, village manager, township supervisor, and the elected
If you
officials.
wanted to draft something and say, we received this request from the board and community development director, please read the following request.
I believe we've sent out a few.
But I would rather have you draft it so that the correct wording
Absolutely.
that you
Okay.
need.
Yes.
So I believe initially when we did the invite and we did the launch of this, there was that communication.
Right.
And made them aware.
So you already have that list
I do believe-
established.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if
We
if
will
we
do it. We will do it again. And
Well, we could send a reminder. You send it out, please. If you did not receive it, contact either one of us then.
because I heard from one person in South County who said that, and he's an elected official, he just happened to come across it and so participated in a recent briefing. I don't know if he's the only one. There could be others. I'd rather be redundant in this situation. Kind of like why they double insulate a power drill, just to make it a little safer. Here we do a double contact to make sure we've covered everything.
we'll absolutely do that. Yeah.
And
And then any assistance that you could provide in your communications with local leadership.
Right. Is everyone okay with doing that? How long will it take?
We'll get it out.
Tomorrow's Friday.
We can get it out tomorrow.
Okay, all right, Julie.
My question was, like, can you copy us when you send it out so we know exactly what you sent?
Sure.
Follow up.
Of course.
Any other questions for Dan? Katie?
Okay,
All right, thank you.
thanks, everybody.
Rick Compton. You're on. Morning.
Good morning, everybody. Hi, I'm Rick Compton. I'm with Riverwood. Appreciate you guys giving me the time this morning to. Thanks. To talk about some things that are in Lansing right now that would radically change the way that the public mental health system is delivered to the citizens of both Berrien County and throughout the state. Just for a form of reference for you. Let's see if I can get this thing to, oops, there we go. There are approximately 32,000 folks in Berrien County who are on Medicaid, and approximately another 11,000 folks who are on Healthy Michigan. So about approximately 43,000 different people receive Medicaid in Berrien County. And what these bills introduced by Senator Shirkey, bills 597 and 598, will do is to eliminate the current PIHP system, or the prepaid inpatient health plan system. In our area, that organization is called SWIMBA, and it would take those services back from the PIHPs and give it to the health plans. So what most people don't know about Riverwood, yes, we deliver psychiatric services, we deliver therapy, we work with people with intellectual developmental disabilities, but we also manage dollars, and we pay for services that are provided by Lakeland, that are provided by the Logan Center, that are provided by Beacon, by about 200 other different contractors, that we manage those dollars and pay to those providers in Berrien County and actually throughout Michigan for services delivered to our consumers. So really what the integration of these bills would do is really as a financial integration. It's at the financial level. It's at the health plans or the insurance company or the managed care companies. It's not at the delivery of care. And one of the concerns is that the health plans, which would take these dollars back, are much more costly than what the PIHPs and what Riverwood do. Their costs are about 15%, where ours are about 6% administrative cost. The proposal would phase these things in for both people with serious mental illness and children. And then after that was done, it would move to substance use disorders, and then eventually to people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. So it would really kind of pull away each one of those different populations over a time frame of several years, and then deliver those dollars to the health plans. So what it would do to Riverwood is it would make us just like any other mental health provider, and we would probably lose about 2/3 of our funding that would be going to the health plans. So 597 and 598, I don't know why that happened. We believe are wrong for the state of Michigan. It's, if you remember back and follow the Senate in the Lansing very well, back in about 2016, 17, there was an effort called 298 that also tried to take the dollars away from local authority and put it back into the health plans. That was defeated. But again, we don't believe this is going to improve access to care. We don't believe it addresses issues that we all have with the with workforce shortage. We have challenges finding nurses and therapists, just like everybody else in healthcare and in the economy today. It does not address the lack of inpatient care, and it does not do anything really but integrate the funding. It doesn't do anything about integrating the actual delivery of care. So we want to kind of look at just a couple of 4 different areas of care, cost, governance, and performance. And what would these bills do? In the area of care, again, if you kind of look at the bottom graph, it doesn't function down in the very bottom. It doesn't really change, doesn't add more hospitals, doesn't add more physicians, doesn't add more providers. What it does is it commingles the PIHP money with the Medicaid HMO money. So it really, again, this bill does not focus on the improvement of care. Cost, again, the health plans, saying as a hair trigger, my apologies. The costs are much higher with the health plans. Last year, the health plans in Michigan had about $550 million in profits. And again, their costs are anywhere from 12 to 15% of administrative costs, where the current system is about 6%. So you're looking at about $200 to $300 million difference between the current system and what is being proposed. And then governance, as you all know, Mike and Don are on the Riverwood board. They elect an official that goes to the PHP. For us, it's Ed Maney for Riverwood. And I think Deb Panazzo, when she used to be on the board, actually was our PHP rep at one time. What this would do is really remove that. There really would not be any local governance. What you're talking about really is putting money in the hands of 5 primary large health plans located in St. Louis. Centene United Healthcare is in Minnesota. Molina is in California. Anthem is in Indiana. And Magellan is in Phoenix. And then performance, again, what a lot of people don't know right now is that actually the health plans do govern or do control access to mental health services for people who are mild and moderate. And one of the biggest problems, according to the Health Endowment Fund in the state of Michigan, is actually the access for people who do have mild and moderate conditions. Again, those right now in the Medicaid system are being managed by the health plans. They are not managed by Riverwood or the PHPs. And unfortunately, the track record has not been very strong. There's also another bill that's out there, and that is Senator Whitford's bill in the House. Instead of having county-wide managed care companies that would be governing, she would take it and create an administrative service organization, probably in Lansing or Detroit, and would have one large managed care entity governing. Our bills are 4925 through 4929, and those are also right now in the legislative process. So I included in your packet a listing of other organizations that have come out against, including the Michigan Association of County, the Sheriff's Association, the Judges Association, different groups, including the ARC, NAMI, National Association of People Mentally Ill, etc. And so that's for your perusal. Happy to take any questions.
Any questions? John and Bob.
Yes.
I guess the question that I would have is trying to reorganize. So why the push at state level to try to reorganize it? If the system's working, what exactly are they trying to get to? Explain that to me so that, I mean, is it the obvious reason?
It's the money.
It's the money.
It's $2 billion statewide. Yeah, about $2 billion.
That's why the legislation is being written.
That's why the legislation is being written, and the legislation was written by the health plans. I mean, just to be honest.
So Rick, do the large health plan corporate providers, they're doing non-mental health also?
Yes, obviously, if you have Medicaid right now, and you would go into the hospital, you would be covered by, and there are 6 different health plans in Berrien County. And if you're on Medicaid, you get to choose between which of those health plans: United, Molina, Meridian, et cetera, Aetna. And so you choose one of those. So if you go in there for, you're having problems with your heart, you would be covered by that. If you came to us and you had a serious mental illness, you had intellectual developmental disabilities, you would be covered by the PHP system currently.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yes.
Is there any good in the light?
I think Mary's an ex-nurse. I guess if you're always a nurse, I shouldn't say that. And I think she has some good ideas. I think the biggest challenge, the problem again, it would be putting it back over to the managed care companies. And even in her bill, she says that the Michigan Medicaid health plans have the highest cost administrative costs. So you take 18% out of $2 billion, you're taking a lot of money out of the system instead of providing it directly for care. And again, I think the biggest problem is I much prefer calling somebody locally and getting care and talking with somebody here than calling somebody in Lansing or Detroit to get my authorizations.
18, yes, ma'am.
And you said there will be no representation
Right,
from
there-
the body.
right.
On both of them?
Yeah, on both of them. Again, there's provisions in there to create for the Wakeford plan, to create a board, a statewide board. But again, right now you have 2 representatives on Riverwood, and then the Riverwood board then elects somebody to work for the PHP, which there's 8 different counties, and every county has a elected official plus an alternate. Plus there's a substance use disorder group that again, Deb Banau's used to serve on.
Yeah.
We send different things. There's a lot more give and take, a lot more local control in the current system than, again, sending it to elsewhere.
Anyone else? All right, thank you, Rick.
Thank you very much. Everyone have a wonderful holiday.
You too. Before I forget, we're going to do the requisitions at 10:30 instead of now. So we'll just need to amend our agenda when we do the 10:30 meeting to add requisition review to the agenda.
Yeah, Rick.
Public comments, or did you have something first?
Yeah,
Brian?
just real quick, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Rick mentioned that Michigan Association of Counties has very clearly stated opposition to the proposed bill, both on the Senate and the House side. If this board is desirous of taking some type of formalized action, be it a letter from the chair, a letter from me, or a resolution, that's something that we could have prepared. We actually have a sample resolution that was provided by MAC, and it's something that we could turn very quickly. I think that my understanding is this bill is making progress, but my read on this is that you do have some time. If you were to wait till your first meeting in January, I think that would be more than sufficient. In talking with some of the Senate staffers, it appears that they're very quickly moving towards their holiday recess. And then just, there is more than likely, if it were to make it through the legislature, it's probably going to be something that could be vetoed by the governor. That's just my read on the situation. But if this board is desirous of taking a formalized position, that's something we could have ready for you. If you're absolutely dying to deal with it, we could have it potentially ready today. I think it would probably be prudent to give you all an opportunity to read through the proposed legislation, or the legislation and the resolution, before taking action.
Anybody have any thoughts?
I would just assume do it before January, so it's on top of mind of the people. Right now, it's put on top of mind.
Okay.
Everybody good with that? Okay, we'll get them when they come back after eating too much chocolate or something.
Okay, that'll be the plan.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right, public comments. Yes, ma'am.
Just want to know if that presentation is on the website. I would really like to.
Yeah, no problem. I'll roll it into the weekly update, and then
It's in the agenda center.
it's in the agenda.
Is she doing public comment, not coming up?
Hmm?
Is she public comment?
And you're Melissa Clapper from Niles Township, St. Joseph Charter Township. Okay. All right. Okay. Sorry.
I was
I
like,
don't know why I thought you were from Niles. No offense to either Niles or St. Joseph. Okay. Any other public comments? All right, well, we'll break for committees. I'm going to join admin today, since you're down 2. And then I think it's a fairly light day in terms of committee agendas, so we'll come back at 10:30 and hopefully get out of here to enjoy the rest of the day.
Mr. Chair.
Oh, sorry, hold on, John. Sheriff.
I just wanted to update you, I had 2 in the jail on 12-hour shifts. We have 16 employees right now that have COVID. So,
9 people I gotta cover on, that doesn't mean the hospital, that takes 2 more. So, we have active records clerk. We have gone today, we started to go back to, if you want to get fingerprinted or do any business and records, you have to make a scheduled appointment to come in so that we can clean in between. So just want to update you on that. Yeah, way too many people over right now. So if we have a few more coming down, it's really going to cause us to find. So we're hoping, after the quarantine, they can come right back to work. Most have, but a few have stretched the time out a little bit further because they're still not feeling well. So that creates longer time off for work. That's what we're doing now, so you can't come into our front lobby without an appointment.
Okay, great. Thank you, Sheriff.
We have, can we ask the sheriff an update on what's going on with the schools and ask what's going on with the schools and everything? Just, are we following through with all the, that's what I'm curious, but, is that being done by the sheriff, or is that being done?
Both. Both. Ongoing. Yep. All righty. I think that's it. So we'll come back 10:30.
To anyone that's curious, the prosecutor is going to be presenting to the admin committee today, and I'm confident that he's planning to address that. I know he's been making regular appearances at local schools on just this topic.
I know Lake Shore schools had 16 threats. They have petitioned 14.
Ma'am, she was asking about threats against schools. The prosecutor is going to be at admin. Prosecutor will be addressing that as well as his other operations. But unfortunately, there have been a lot of threats, and I think a lot of kids don't understand the severity of what they're doing. And it is a very serious issue. Yep.
No, I think we're too relaxed and they don't think they'll be punished, so they just do this. And they don't enforce the gentleman who I'm with, his daughter was teaching at Lake Shore and the law says all kids have to stand. Well, her students wouldn't stand, so she says, just stand outside, go outside the office when we do the pledge. They told her that they could do whatever they want. And then she says, well, here's my resignation, I quit. You're not following your own policy. And she says, you're not following the other policies and that. And she just turned her resignation in. She says Lakeshore Public Schools doesn't abide by school policy and the kids are running everything. She said, I had enough of it. The Dowagiac teachers all walked out over there. And now they're going to put teachers in without degrees. So I've got a couple of employees who kids are in Dowagiac schools, so they're going to go for a virtual school. It's just gotten really bad. I have an answer. I hope so too.
Someone said that they thought, I'm asking, of course, are there any changes in polling places?
There is legislation.
No, I mean here.
We have quite a few of them because I have 2,999. And
Listen to that little spiel and heard your representative say you're all crazy and they just did it anyway.
and it's hard to find locations too. So it's really challenging. And those people